try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We gotta add a little addendum to the show map today. Shall we start here on the daily? Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been. Hey guys, what's going on? Jep here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekdaily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And today, I cannot wait to break down for you exactly why I believe that Bitcoin is about to rally all the way back up to $112,000, our all-time high, and break it. Right now, though, we do have a bit of a bearish development. As you guys know, the charts change every single day, which is why we live stream every single day. Today, Bitcoin is having a bit of weakness. We are seeing a bit of a drop down to $106,400. Today, we're going to break down that level. I'm going to share with you exactly what it means for Bitcoin, and we're going to be talking about where Bitcoin goes from here, backing it with evidence based on the fundamental realities on the ground in the Middle East, based on political realities on the ground in Washington, D.C., based on technical realities on the Bitcoin chart, and also based on technical realities based on the United States stock market. Today, you are coming into this stream wondering, why is Bitcoin doing what it's doing? And before you leave, you will have a much better understanding so that you can begin and continue to prosper in the cryptocurrency market. My name is Jeb McAfee. I've been working in the cryptocurrency space for almost 8 years. I love what I do. I love helping you guys make money. And the main reason that I make content here is for one of two reasons. Number one, I believe that I can help you come closer to Jesus by telling you about your Lord and Savior. And two, I also believe that I can help you make a lot of money in the cryptocurrency space so that you can change your life. Hey, think about a time in your life where you were down and out. Go there in your mind. Think about it. It's visceral. You'll know that you're there because as soon as you go there, tears. As soon as you go there, tears. Now, after you've gone there, I want you to think to yourself, what could have gone differently? What could have gone better? What could I have done differently? I don't want you to relive past trauma and force yourself to beat yourself up. We're not here to self-condemn. We're not here to self-criticize. We're not here to hurt ourselves emotionally. But I want you to wonder, could something have gone differently? Maybe you grew up very poor. Maybe you had no money. Maybe your parents were always fighting about finances. Maybe if there was some more financial responsibility in the home, you would have had more stability growing up. Maybe your parents were divorced because they just couldn't get their act together. One of them was strung out on drugs. The other one couldn't stop cursing. Whatever it is, go there in your mind. You were given a life and a testimony for a reason. There is no pain that comes upon the children of God that is not intended to teach us. So what are we going to learn from it? Today, we are going to learn how to make money in the cryptocurrency space together so that our tomorrow can be better than our yesterday. Capiche? Awesome. Let's see who all's in chat. Thank you all for tuning in today. We got Queen in chat. Changed her name to Queen Finsov. What's up, Queen? Good to see you. Joe Bollier's in chat. Blazing is in chat. Jose Vega is in chat. Carl Hoffman is in chat. Dan Sylvester is in chat. Miguel Orangel is in chat. Good to see you, my friend. Christopher Ryan said, morning, Jeb. Beautiful day. Beautiful day indeed. J.R. Mel is in chat. It's Remy No Limits in chat. Billy Skills 1428 said, loving the studio. Thank you very much, guys. Juan Hernandez said, excited to see your POV. Ryan Foshaug. Ryan Foshaug. That's an awesome name that I'm probably butchering. Said, good morning, my brother in Christ. May your day be blessed. Thank you so much. Let's get started. Awesome. Let's jump on over to the wonderful chart of CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin is currently trading at $106,600. This is a very important development because it means that Bitcoin is on its way towards breaking beneath this flat level of support that we have been talking about for the last several days. You see, Just a quick recap. Bitcoin has been in this corrective movement ever since the Bitcoin 2025 conference. Many people, including myself, were hoping to see a major announcement out of JD Vance's talk. We expected that JD Vance was going to announce that the United States was selling its gold reserves to buy Bitcoin, which is something that they may be doing in the background, but we don't have confirmation of that. Unfortunately, we did not get any earth-shattering developments. We got a very wonderful speech, but we did not get any earth-shattering developments that completely upended our understanding of the cryptocurrency market. And so Bitcoin ended up going into this corrective movement. About 2.5 weeks ago, Israel launched a missile barrage on Iran. And what is now being dubbed as the 12-day war began. During that war, the United States launched 7 B-2 Spirit bombers to drop 14 GBU-57 MOP massive ordnance penetrator bunker busters on the nuclear enrichment facilities at Fordo, and U.S. destroyers launched about 30 to 40 Tomahawk cruise missiles to take out the nuclear enrichment facilities at Natanz and Nasfahan. This assault led Bitcoin beneath $100,000 for the first time in almost 45 days, with Bitcoin staying up here for 45 days consecutively before dropping below $100,000. And then one of the most bullish things that has happened to Bitcoin all year happened. Bitcoin broke beneath $100,000. Yeah, you heard me right. One of the most bullish things that has happened to Bitcoin all year is that it broke below $100,000. The reason that that is so incredibly bullish is because of the comparison. We were not holding above $100,000 back here. We were drowning below $100,000, fighting with every single breath to keep our head above $100,000, and Bitcoin failed to do that. This time, instead of falling beneath $100,000 and staying down there for 94 days, falling 26% beneath $100,000. Instead of doing that, Bitcoin fell below fell below $100,000 for 9 hours, and it got bought like crazy. Yours truly was buying Bitcoin. Many other people that you know were buying Bitcoin. You were buying Bitcoin. Everybody was buying Bitcoin sub $100,000. Because I know what I thought when I saw the sub $100,000 Bitcoin. You can tell me what you thought, but what I thought was, oh my goodness, this is awesome. I am so excited to see a sub $100,000 Bitcoin, 5-figure Bitcoin. Sign me up. I'm going to dump as much cash into it as I can. I'm not waiting for 92. I explicitly told you guys when we were talking about $92,000 Bitcoin, do not bet against Bitcoin. Do not open a short trade. I explicitly said that. Do not open a short trade. Shorting the market down to 92 is not a good idea because we had 3 targets. Number 1 target was just sub 100,000. Number 2 target was $95,000. Our bearish price target was $92K because we have the Bitcoin CME futures gap down there. The issue is, right as soon as the United States launched that attack on Iran, Donald Trump came out the very next day, after waddling away. He came out the very next day and he said that we're going to be pushing for a ceasefire. He demanded a ceasefire out of Israel and out of Iran. And so that came to fruition. That ceasefire is now in effect, and that led to a major rally on Bitcoin. But it didn't just lead to a major rally on Bitcoin, it also led to a major rally on the United States S&P 500. And that S&P 500, as of today, has just broken all-time high. Do you understand how important that is? This is incredibly important that Bitcoin has just broken all-time high. I'm sorry, that the United States S&P 500 has just broken all-time high. Bitcoin is positively correlated to the S&P. Where the S&P 500 goes, Bitcoin follows. The S&P 500 is a leading chart for Bitcoin. The Dixie is also an inversely correlated leading chart for Bitcoin. I'm going to break down both of those for you today. If you didn't see yesterday's video, stay tuned because we're going to build on what we talked about yesterday. We're going to even go a lot deeper in today's episode. So let's do this. First things first, I need to establish for you briefly, we're going to make this quick because a lot of you have already seen this, that Bitcoin follows the S&P 500 very closely. If you go up here to this plus button, you can compare the two. SPY is a leading indicator on Bitcoin. Generally, the S&P 500 is doing things before Bitcoin. For example, here, you can see the S&P 500 bottomed out on October the 7th, 2022. Bitcoin bottomed out a full 45 days later here on November the 18th. the S&P 500 was leading Bitcoin. There are other times that the S&P 500 will lead Bitcoin as well. What we saw here in 2024, pretty much the entire year of 2024, Bitcoin basically just went through one massive sideways action from early March all the way through October. And during that time period, the S&P 500 was going through a ballistic rally. We were breaking all-time high and going much, much higher. And so when Bitcoin did eventually start moving to the upside, it almost instantaneously corrected right back up to all-time high at 112 because it was springing up to catch up with 112. And so what we saw happen was that the Bitcoin market followed the S&P 500 to the T. Not necessarily on the same day, but it followed it to the T. And so now that we've seen the United States SPY break above all-time high, it's sitting at 615 right now. All your retirement accounts are doing great, right? As the S&P 500 is doing that, that means that 613 on SPY is now support architecture. In the same way that once Bitcoin broke and held above 100K, $100,000 became support. And then when we fell beneath it, you found a lot of support. Same thing's happening now. Give S&P 500 a week of no bad news, a week of no bearish news, and you're going to see it come up here to 615, 618, 620. From that point in time, you may see a back test and a bounce off, and you end up seeing S&P 500 go to the moon. Does that mean that Bitcoin's about to rally? Not necessarily today, but it does mean at some point in the next month or two, most likely, because there's no major bearish catalyst for Bitcoin at the moment. It does mean most likely that Bitcoin is going to go through a rally. That being said, the S&P 500 breaking all-time high is actually part of the reason that Bitcoin is correcting right now. This is something that we can learn from this market, is that the S&P 500 is now breaking through all-time high. This is leading Bitcoin into a slight short-term, not long-term, not protracted, but a slight short-term corrective movement, and that would be because the excitement, if you will, is on the SPY. The excitement in Bitcoin has shifted slightly into excitement on the S&P 500. When you see SPY break all-time high for the first time in many months. This is the all-time high that was set February 20th, so we're talking 4 or 5 months ago. When you see the S&P 500 set this massive inverse head and shoulders pattern, obviously, if you trade all markets, not just crypto, which is the vast majority of traders, it's a very few number of people that only trade crypto. I mean, even we have a small stock portfolio. I mean, it's pretty big, but compared to our Bitcoin portfolio, it's pretty small. But I'm interested in seeing what S&P 500 is going to do. It's a very simple long. If you want to go into a long trade, I mean, my goodness, it's kind of obvious, right? The SPY just broke all-time high. There is no major bearish fundamental on the horizon. We do have a Fed meeting in a month where we basically know they're not going to cut rates, but I think that's already priced in. People already realize that Jerome Powell's not going to cut rates. And so, excuse me, it becomes very much obvious that the S&P 500 is going to go through a major rally, which means that some of the buying pressure that will come into Bitcoin is not here yet, but it's coming. It's a little bit like how when you see the alt season, Bitcoin dominance goes up. As Bitcoin's dominance goes up, in theory, now this hasn't played out in practice this cycle, but in theory, the dominance will come down and it'll cascade into Bitcoin, into the altcoins if you give it enough time. It's a similar component here. As the S&P 500 finds its footing in blue sky territory, which is something that it's not seen pretty much at all during the Trump presidency, the second Trump presidency thus far, if that's the case, then you will see almost certainly billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars flowing into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. You're just going to need to give it a couple of weeks for the S&P 500 to have the headlines, it get boring, and then people say, okay, what's going to hit all-time high next? Well, what happens next is Bitcoin. What happens next is Bitcoin. You are seeing the S&P 500 break all-time high, go into a major rally. That's taking the attention away from Bitcoin slightly, just for a little while, and then give it a week or so, and you're going to see Bitcoin testing this downtrending level of resistance with a lot of power. Maybe you even build an inverse head and shoulders pattern. In fact, at this point, with the way that we moved in the last 24 hours, I would expect that we would try to build an inverse head and shoulders pattern. Short term, it looks like we rejected off of this downtrending level of resistance. Short term, it kind of looks like we might fall back down to this uptrending level of support here, for example. If we fall down to this uptrending level of support around 105, that's okay. We'll probably build support there. Get the inverse head and shoulders pattern in play. If you build that inverse head and shoulders pattern, or you extrapolate the price target on that inverse head and shoulders pattern, what you're going to find is a breakout up to 116. If you'll notice, simple subtraction, that's above 112. And so if it's above 112, then what that means is that we're going to break 112. Right now, we are extremely confident from the technicals and the fundamentals that Bitcoin is heading back towards all-time highs soon. We just need to figure out how exactly it's going to do that. This is what we need to be paying very close attention to right now, is how is Bitcoin going to rally back to all-time high? There is, as far as I'm aware, and you guys can tell me if you know something that I don't, but as far as I'm aware, I cannot think of a single major reason why Bitcoin would not be exceptionally bullish right now, especially considering we've spent the last 2 months correcting sideways. Something that you need to understand about this market, this Bitcoin market, this 2023, 24, 25 market, is that Bitcoin is not so much going through these massive crashes. No, it's more so just trading sideways. It's more so just consolidative movement. Could we see a correction? We could, but there's no catalyst. In the last major corrections, there were catalysts. There was a lot of SEC, Operation Choke Point 2.0 kind of stuff going on here. Here we had this corrective movement because Bitcoin just moonshot after the ETF, so it needed to cool off. This correction had to do with tariffs. You can name each one of these corrections. What's the name for this correction? It would have been Israel and Iran's war, but there's a ceasefire now. So the correction that doesn't seem to be on the way. There could have been a correction, and it would have made sense from the charting. Would have made a lot of sense from the charting down to 92, but this is why you got to watch the geopolitics, right? From the charting standpoint, a drop down to 92 makes perfect sense. You're bouncing down to this uptrending level of support on the daily chart. On the log chart, you bounce off of 92, you go into a rally. The issue is the catalyst is gone. If we don't have the catalyst of the Israeli-Iranian conflict, what catalyst drops Bitcoin down to 92 when the United States S&P 500 is in blue sky breakout? You also see a similar thing happening with gold. Gold is sitting pretty up here at all-time high. Bitcoin tracks with gold. I wonder why. It's almost like they're sister commodities, and we need to stop, shooting each other. Well, I like the gold bugs. We got to quit arguing with them. I think we have a better product, but after all, we're both hard money. They're hard-ish money. We are actually very, very, very hard money. But at the same time, it's kind of in the same boat. So I personally believe that you're about to see a major uptrend on Bitcoin. That being said, you might need a small corrective movement over the next couple of days before we continue on on the way. That being said, you need to keep a weather eye on the horizon and a ear to the ground on the news front, because if something major happens in the news, that could lead to a big drop in Bitcoin, and you don't want to be taken off guard. So make sure you're tuning into the channel every single day, watching the news, seeing what's going on. Try to learn a little bit about the war that had been going on between Israel and Iran. Learn what Al Udeid base is in Doha, Qatar. Learn about the B-2 Spirit bomber. Do a little bit of research. I mean, have some fun with it. Obviously war is not fun, but I don't know about you. I have a background in physics. I love studying the aerospace engineering that goes into those planes. It's absolutely incredible. I love history and geopolitics. I love looking at where all the different military bases are. I like watching the fleets of the American Navy move around to kind of see what their positioning is. As you put these different pieces together, you can start to really develop a solid understanding of not just what's happening, but more importantly, why it's happening, so that you can understand what's going to happen. Think about it like this. If you have the luxury of having insider information, you would definitely trade upon that. You would definitely do something to take advantage of that information. Well, the insiders have to get the information from somewhere. Where are they getting the information from? They're getting the information from, hey, we got these 30,000-pound bombs. We're about to bomb the crap out of Fordo. Obviously, we're going to do that because the B-2 Spirit bomber it flies so high, it can't get shot down. It's stealthy. It's the size. If you study the B-2 Spirit bomber, for example, it is a 51. What is it? It's I think it's 51-yard wingspan. It's like a 150-foot wingspan, something like that. And its radar cross section is the size of a dove. Imagine radar trying to spot a dove at 50 to 60,000 feet. Good luck. You're not going to find it. They're invisible. Why wouldn't Trump launch that? You can kind of predict that strike is coming. We knew that strike was coming. We told you that it was going to happen. Part of the reason I know that, because I've studied the plane he's going to do it with. You see them moving the planes around. We saw the diversion in Guam. Obviously, something was going on. Pay attention to the news. You can see, hey, a strike's about to come. You know what's going to happen when we strike Iran with bombs? The market's going to drop. You could have seen that coming, right? If you think about how Trump thinks, and honestly, I feel bad. I should have gotten this more on point. We could have predicted. I feel like I was capable of predicting that he was going to drop the bombs and say, screw this, we're out. We're not getting involved. I feel like that was a predictable move by Trump because it aligns with his character of wanting to stay out of the Middle East as far as out of conflict. You got to pay attention to the news. And so I want to really, really, really encourage you guys to pay attention to what's going on and to study. That's why I built this set, because I want to convey with everything that I have the importance of studying, education, of reading, of paying attention to the politics, even different subjects that don't seem to have any correlation whatsoever are actually extremely helpful. And the reason that they're extremely helpful is because it helps you to have a comprehensive view of the whole situation so you can make better predictions about what's going to happen and so that you can make better trades and better investments. All right, let's read a little bit of chat. I'm going to do a couple of polls. Really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's check out the comments. Let me pull this up over here so I can see a little bit better. Catalyst always comes as a surprise. That's why it is a surprise. That's right. What would you... True. A lot of times you can kind of see that the catalyst is going to come, though. What do you think the catalyst is? Do you see anything on the horizon? Generally, like, for example, if you were paying close enough attention, you could have seen that they were probably about to launch an attack on Israel, for example. On Iran, for example, I apologize. The IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Administration, discussed how Iran was massively in violation of their nuclear agreements. Like, you could have seen that coming to some degree. How about helping the poor, sick, needy people instead of always talking about it? It shows where your heart is. So the thing I will say to that is, how do you know that we're not helping poor, sick, needy people and just not saying it? Because I don't have any interest in bragging to you or making you think that I'm some kind of awesome person that I'm not. How do you know that we're not helping people? Because the thing that I need you guys to understand is I don't care about money. I really don't. It really makes no difference to me. In fact, it's hard for me to be motivated sometimes to do certain things. I'm like, I don't see how this connects. I don't do anything without purpose. I can't. I've tried. Maybe you can relate to this. I've tried to be motivated. Oh, we're going to go get this much money. Oh, we're going to go do it. We're going to go build this audience. I don't care. I'm just going to be real with you. I really don't care. I like a peaceful, quiet life. I like a simple life. Here's what I want. I want to impact as many of you as I possibly can. I want to teach you guys how to make more money. I want to teach you guys how to live wisely. I want to teach you guys how to prosper and have financial sovereignty. I want to teach you guys how to trade. I want to teach you guys how to invest. I want to teach you guys how to make a difference so that you can change your family tree, right? That's what I want to see happen. I want to see on the other end of this microphone, on the other end of this camera, somebody who's being impacted for the good. It's being impacted for the better. Everything that we do has to go back to impact. Our mission is to help America become a financially sovereign nation of individuals. Help the world become a financially sovereign globe by following sound wisdom, investing in sound monies, and learning profitable entrepreneurial skill sets. And that's what we're talking about every single day here. Actually, money is important as it gives you the ability to help others. Yeah, I don't see. I'm just going to be honest. I don't see a lot of broke people launching, massive rescue missions to other nations. I know a lot of broke people that are financiers for massive ministries that are saving hundreds and hundreds or thousands of kids out of slavery. We know ministries like that. We work with some of them. In fact, I have one of their coffee mugs in our cabinet. There's two ways you can impact somebody. This is something you ought to take away. There's two ways you can impact somebody. Either you can directly impact them, or you can free up somebody that can directly impact them. In other words, you can go and be a mentor to a child that needs a mentor. Or you can give money to somebody who is in a position to go and be a mentor to that child so they are able to do it full time. Paul talked about this. Why should the laborer not be paid his wages? Somebody who's working for the kingdom, should we not pay them? Should they do it for free and starve and then only be able to do it for the next 2 months because they're going to emaciate themselves to death? No. There's a reason God made money. There's a reason that it works. There's a reason there's a system there. There's a reason there's wisdom around it. There are areas in your life where you're going to be able to directly impact somebody. Maybe somebody comes to you and they just need a shoulder to cry on. And that's a good thing. And you should take those opportunities. And we do every time we get the chance. We do take opportunities every time we get the chance to help somebody. directly. That being said, I'm only one person. I have a wife, bunch of kids, got a lot going on. One way that I can directly really help people is through tithing. I can help people through funding other ministries. I can expand my reach by, and this is really the vision of what I'm trying to do with the channel, is by building the biggest audience possible so that my words help as many of you as possible, turn that into a profitable business, turn that money around, and then also use the money to help people. That's the only way that I get excited about this. I don't care what you think of me. I really don't. I really do not care. I don't care. I don't care if you think I'm cool. I don't care if you think I'm rich. I don't care if you think I'm handsome. I don't care if you think I'm well-spoken or eloquent. I don't want your glory. Solo Deo Gloria, right? Who knows what that means? All glory to God and glory to God alone. I don't want you to worship me in any sense of the word. I don't want you to say, man, Jeb's this awesome, amazing guy. I'm not. I'm broken, just like you are. I'm just honest about it. I don't care. I frankly don't give a crap what anybody thinks. What I want is I want to make an impact. And if you're here for that, subscribe to the channel. If that's what you want, subscribe to the channel. I want to see us build something. And let me connect this back. You may not know how to go save kids out of sex slavery in India. I know a ministry that knows how, and they need funding. You may not know how to help somebody. I don't know. Here's something. There's a lot of disease all over the world, and the parents can't afford the treatment. There's all kinds of, birth defects, abnormalities, all these things that are treatable in the West with modern insurance and medicine, but it's not something that they can afford. You're not a doctor, are you? Well, maybe you are, but you're not on mercy ships. Go look up that ministry. You're not Doctors Without Borders. Maybe you are. But there are people out there that know how to do these things, that know how to go and help people. And maybe if you learn how to trade, maybe if you learn how to make a couple $100,000 a year, you could give them $30,000 or $40,000 a year. Maybe you've got a parent. This is where I was talking about. Go back in your mind. Every single one of you. Don't tell me you've had a perfect life. Don't act like you have everything together, because you don't. Go back in your life. Go back in your mind. When did you need help? When did you need help and the cavalry wasn't coming? Because I can go back there. I can spend a lot of time there. Decades there. I'm only 24 years old, man. I can spend years in an area where if somebody with the right expertise and the right funding to make it possible for them were to come in, it would have made all the difference. Go there in your mind. Go there in your mind. Maybe you have a broken home. Maybe your parents couldn't stop arguing about money. Maybe you need to provide the kind of financial stability for your family that you didn't have. Maybe you do live in a far off country and you have the internet and you're learning how to trade. Good for you. And you're like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to learn to trade. I'm going to make so much money. I can help people around me. Poverty's real. Quality of life, life expectancy, happiness, joy, peace. These things are tied to your financial wisdom, not so much your financial level of success, but you got to have your basic needs met. There was a study done like 10 years ago of the whole does money equal happiness bit. And it basically said after, and this is 10 years ago, so we're going to adjust the numbers a little bit. It said basically after $70,000 to $80,000 a year in America, money doesn't equal happiness. Change that to, I don't know, $110,000. After about $110,000, adjusting that for inflation, after about $110,000 a year, money doesn't necessarily equal more happiness. But the funny thing is 99% of the world makes less money than that. Can you have Christian joy when you're bow-legged because you didn't have the right nutrients in the womb because your mother is so poor she can't eat except once a day? Of course you can have Christian joy, but is your life going to be everything that God wants it to be? No, I'm not a prosperity gospel preacher, but what I am saying is that there are real problems out there. And money can be a real part of the solution if we treat it right. Go somewhere in your head that you needed help and think about how can you free yourself up or free somebody else up to help those individuals. Maybe you're saying, well, Jeb, I don't want to pay somebody else to help. I want to help myself. Okay, cool. Make enough money to retire off of. Here's an idea. Buy enough Bitcoin that you can take a 10% withdrawal rate off of it and replace your income. Maybe you make $120,000 a year. All right. Go ham for 3 to 5 years. Make $1.2 million. Make $400,000, put it in Bitcoin, let it grow for 5 years. 2032 rolls around. That's a $1.2 million portfolio. You take 10% a year. You never go down in principal, except during the bear markets, obviously. But you could take 10% in perpetuity and you'd never run out of Bitcoin because of the growth of Bitcoin. It's going to grow at probably 20 to 22% for the rest of time, basically, or at least for the next several decades. And you could retire yourself, and maybe you have the skills. Maybe you're that doctor that could go and tour Africa and help people, or go tour inner city America and help people. Maybe you're that person that you need to free up. Maybe you need to free yourself up from having to make money. What's your purpose? What are you trying to do here? That's what I want to show you. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing I'll say. Trading. You can trade anywhere in the world with an internet connection and a computer. You know how awesome trading is? You know how much flexibility that gives you? If you want to work at if you want your shift to be 3 o'clock to 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., you can do that. You can do that. You've got to figure out what this means. You've got to figure out what the point is to all this, or you're going to burn out. What's the point? Tell me in the chat. Why are you here? Why do you care about making money in crypto? Because I'm going to tell you from firsthand experience, having made millions of dollars, plural, millions. I've made millions of dollars in the crypto space. I'm going to tell you from firsthand experience that there is a point where more money does not equal more happiness. And it doesn't take that much. That being said, it's pretty cool. I like it. But there's a lot of people that are definitely way below that line where a little bit of money, maybe a little bit of medical help, maybe some free groceries, maybe some free babysitting for these new parents, whatever, would genuinely massively help them. Why are you here? I want to hear. Why are you here? Why are you here? Let's read some chat. Pew Pew Poom 2 is in chat. Thank you for being here. Exactly. Make money to give money. When does altcoin season start? I heard Trump is interviewing Jay Powell replacement. Yeah, I mean, I think that the altcoin season is going to happen. I think that the S&P 500 breaking all-time high is actually one of the early warning signs that we're going to see that break for the alt season. Alt season is coming. Here's part of the reason that alt season hasn't happened yet. Part of the reason that alt season hasn't happened yet is quite simply because Bitcoin has not even come close to what it is capable of doing in this cycle. Not even close. Bitcoin's probably going to go to $200,000 to $250,000 this cycle, and I also am starting to lean in the direction of a super cycle as far as no bear market or a drastically smaller bear market. I'm not going to make that call yet because I want to see Bitcoin growing a lot more, but I don't think you're going to see a 77% drawdown. I don't think that's what you're going to see. You might see 60, you might see 65. I don't think you're going to see a 77% drawdown like we did last time. We had an 83% drawdown. I'm sorry, was it 73? Maybe it was 73. I don't think you're going to see this massive drawdown that we saw. 77, yeah, it was 77. I don't think you're going to see that 77% drawdown. I think that you're going to see the market go absolutely ballistic. I would not be surprised if Bitcoin literally just ran for the next 5 years straight. We have the ETFs. They're the most successful ETFs in the history of the world by a long shot in every single metric. They're either in the top 5 or they just are the top performing ETFs in history. It's going to be fine. Bitcoin's going to go nuts. And so the altcoins are being pushed to the back seat, also partially because of the ETFs, right? I mean, the ETFs have brought most of the value into Bitcoin. I do think there's going to be an alt season, but I'm starting to wonder if when that's going to be. We're very heavily in Bitcoin season here. You can see it right here. Altcoin season metric is at 19. Extreme alt season, but Bitcoin season rather. Bitcoin, there's only a few altcoins that have outperformed Bitcoin in the last 90 days. I mean, there's just a handful. I mean, this is counting pretty much every single altcoin on in the charts. Only a few, only about a quarter of the ones in the top 100 have outperformed Bitcoin. It's not many. Let's read a little bit of chat. Hey, Jeb, been a long-time subscriber since Bitcoin was 3,100 and you didn't have a face cam. Love to see you are still out here sharing your knowledge and keeping the channel going. Thank you so much. Hey, we love what we do here. We love teaching you guys how to succeed in crypto. Can't wait to see where you guys are going. Hashtag FinSov. Guys, financial sovereignty means having control over your wealth and leveraging it to better your life and the lives of people around you. If you've not already, consider adopting the idea of financial sovereignty. It'll change your life. Amen. Jeb, please speak about the over-the-counter market. How much Bitcoin is available OTC and when might it dry up? Yeah, so Bitcoin OTC reserves. Let's pull up that chart. It is dropping, and it's dropping rapidly. Let's see if I can find an updated chart here. The over-the-counter balance. This was a little bit outdated. Let's see if I can find it here. This looks, let's see if this is updated. This is a month ago. This is not, this will show you the general trend. All right, so this is the Bitcoin over-the-counter balance, cohort balance. Let's see if I have this right. Yes, I do believe I do. Okay, so you can see this is the last, if I understand correctly, yes, this is the last 7 years of charted history of over-the-counter Bitcoin, and that number is plummeting. It's plummeting. Back up. What's an over-the-counter market? Over-the-counter market is a market where you don't trade on the exchange. It is where basically massive players, they're buying 10, 50, 100, 1,000 Bitcoin. Like you're talking about like the MicroStrategies and the Meta Planets. That's where they go to buy their Bitcoin. They're not buying it on exchange and running up the order books because they're not going to get a good price. They literally run the order book. It'd be crazy. What they do is they buy it over the counter using the spot price. This has a couple of effects. Number one, it doesn't actually lead the market to moving. It doesn't actually move the market, which is important, and we'll talk about why that's important in a second. But it also drains the over-the-counter desks. This is also part of the reason that I don't think we're anywhere near the all-time high of this bull market. Like, I don't think we're anywhere close to it. The OTC balance in 2021 at the all-time high was 486,000 Bitcoin. It's currently at just a little over 100,000. It's down 80%. OTC has not been... The crypto Twitter has been showing you this little section right here. Been showing you this little section. It's not showing you the full context. And that is that OTC balances have been dropping for half a decade. The entirety of the 2020s. We've been seeing OTC balances drop. Basically since about a year into the 2020s. This decade. About a year into this decade, we've been dropping like a rock. The reason that that's important is because of what I said a minute ago. When you buy Bitcoin on the over-the-counter desk, you don't manipulate the price of Bitcoin. It doesn't move the order book. When you do see Bitcoin move is when you buy on the exchanges. So when the over-the-counter markets dry up, that leaves no other choice for these companies that are rapidly acquiring Bitcoin. This is the reason that OTC balance has been cut almost in half in the last year. When these major players are buying a lot of Bitcoin, they're buying a lot of Bitcoin largely out of the over-the-counter balances. And as they continue to drain the OTC balances, they're going to end up having to go onto exchange. Think about for a second how much impact BlackRock buying 6,000 Bitcoin on an exchange would do. Think about the impact of MicroStrategy buying 5,000 Bitcoin across a multitude of exchanges would have. Think about it. Well, Jeb, they're not going to buy on exchange. That'd be ridiculous. So where are they going to buy? Who are they buying from? Somebody's got to sell it to them. They're not going to stop anytime soon. This is why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin, guys. And the altcoins will come along with it, but this is why Bitcoin's market dominance is going so crazy. Saylor turned on. I've interviewed Saylor. He's been on this show. Saylor turned on a vacuum cleaner the size of a black hole and is sucking Bitcoin into it. He started doing it. Larry Fink saw that and said, I want some of that. Fidelity saw Larry Fink do that and said, I want some of that. Meta Planet, 21, all these different companies saw Saylor, BlackRock, and Larry Fink doing it, and Fidelity doing it, and said, I want some of that. And so now you've got this cosmic black hole sucking all of the Bitcoin into it. There's only so much Bitcoin that you can suck into it until it's dry. And at that point in time, you have an enormous price squeeze. Because all of this buying pressure that was not impacting the price of Bitcoin. Do you ever wonder why the price of Bitcoin doesn't move when Saylor buys 10,000 freaking Bitcoin? The reason it doesn't move is because it's being bought over the counter. It's not on the actual exchange. And he doesn't want it to be on the exchange because he wants to buy as much as he can below 100,000 or around 100,000. He don't want to be buying at 500. He wants to be buying at 100. You should be happy about this because you get to do the exact same thing the Sailor's doing. You get to acquire at the low, low price of 0.1 million. Right? So what happens when the over-the-counter dries up entirely? Well, theoretically, that only leaves the markets. That only leaves the exchanges. Don't let them get your Bitcoin. Don't sell it to them because you're not going to get it back. You're not going to get it back. This is what happened after 2008. What you saw happen was these big companies came in and bought up all the real estate. Housing prices shot up. If you're if you're an investor in the housing market, you made a killing. But those of you that sold your home, you lost a lot of money because you missed out on your home value doubling, tripling, quadrupling in some areas. These companies made a killing. They made a ton of money. You didn't though, and that's why housing market is so valuable now. And so we're going to see the exact same thing happening with Bitcoin. I've been telling you this for years. Some of you will listen, some of you won't. Hopefully you will. The elites, Larry Fink, Sailor, love Sailor, but he's one of them. These guys that have billions and billions and billions of dollars at their disposal, they're going to hoover up all the Bitcoin, and they ain't going to sell it. Why should they? As the price of Bitcoin goes up, their stock price goes up. They sell stock instead of Bitcoin to cash in, and they're good. They can dilute their stock until the end of time because so long as they dilute their stock slower than the price of Bitcoin goes up, then they make money. And you turn what's in the future going to be a $500 billion stack of Bitcoin that MicroStrategy is sitting on, you turn that into $100 billion a year of revenue just from the stock price going up and diluting it because you can dilute it slower than it grows. It's like taking out debt at 5% to grow at 20%. So long, I mean, or in this case, it's like saying that Bitcoin grows at 22%. You take out 8% a year. You never touch the principal. Never happens. Never touch the principal. You're good. Never run out. You created, in effect, perpetual income. It's like a perpetual motion machine, but it's in the financial markets, and it's the biggest thing in the financial markets. What the hell does that kind of flywheel do to the markets? Oh my gosh. Just think about it. Think about your plan. Let's go back to the plan I pitched to you guys. Hey, you need to make 300, 400K in the next 3 to 5 years. Buy as much Bitcoin as you can. Wait 5 years. Now it's worth $1.2, $1.5 million. Easier said than done, I know. But you can do it through trading. You can go get a good skill. You can cut back, whatever. You take out 10% on 20% growth. Well, still growing. You take out money against the Bitcoin. Let's say you borrow against it. The debt grows, but the Bitcoin grows faster. That's what these companies are doing, except they're doing it with 100,000 times more Bitcoin than you are. This is going to massively shake up the world. The impact that this is going to have is unprecedented. We really have no way of predicting everything that this is going to do. This is Pandora's box. And ultimately, you have the option of being a part of it or missing out. And so I heavily encourage you to build your Bitcoin stack as fast as you can. I really do. I highly encourage that. And hold it. Don't get shaken out. Don't sell your Bitcoin to the exchanges. Don't sell the Bitcoin to the exchanges. Don't sell the Bitcoin to these big companies. I'm going to put a poll in chat. Are you hodling Bitcoin for at least 5 years? I want to hear it. Are you hodling Bitcoin for at least 5 years? By the way, I want some interaction here. I really need some interaction here because, as you can see, we're doing a lot of work to make this stream the very best possible. I'm going to give you guys total express permission to be totally freaking brutal with me. I want you guys to be brutally honest with me. Tell me, what do we need to do better with the stream? Whether you think I know it or not. I want to make this the best stream on YouTube. I don't care if it comes across hateful. I don't care if it comes across mean. I don't care. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Like I'm pretty well aware of my flaws and of my mistakes. I want to hear every single thing in the comments in the chat right now, as I'm speaking, that you think we need to do better to make this stream the best stream in the cryptocurrency space. What do we need to do? I'll name some of them. I think that we need to make sure we're here at a consistent time. We need to make sure that I need to work on the structure of the stream. We need to talk more about altcoins. These are some things that I'm thinking like, man, well, I need to bring you guys on the call. I need to get the stuff set up where you guys can call into the show. Want to hear y'all's, your opinion on that. What are some things that you think that this stream needs to do better? What are your suggestions? What are your comments? What are your concerns? What needs to be better? What needs to be worse? Tell me, not worse, but what needs to change? Tell us in the comments. Stop selling Lux Algo as the Grawl. As the Growl? Grawl? The Grawl? Would you mind clarifying what that word means? Maybe someone else to bounce discussion off of. Got an idea about that. Yep. Let's see. Let's see. We got 78% of you are holding Bitcoin for at least 5 years. I love it. 5 more years, yes. Yes, have a better structure maybe. I agree. We need to work on the structuring of the show. I need to do that. I don't know how to do that. We're going to do that. We're doing a lot of work to get this stream as crisp as possible. Oh, stop selling Lux Algo as the Holy Grail. Okay. All right. Definitely not the Holy Grail. It is great, but it's not the Holy Grail. Be different from other streams. No clickbait / bull posting. You have always been King TA. Just keep it real. Don't speak absolutes, but chances and likelinesses. Okay? You should have a running ticker with live coin prices. Oh, that's cool. Like up here on the shelf? That's a good idea. We're going to start doing this every single stream. I want you guys to beat me over the head with, Jeb, you need to do better about this. More collabs with other channels like Sin City Crypto. I was actually on their stream a couple of weeks ago in person. Yeah, I'd love to do some collaborations like that. Short videos, maybe with news updates. Yes, we are going to as soon as next week, we're going to a 7-day-a-week upload schedule. People need to understand it's not an investment, but changing the denominator, i.e. dollars versus pesos. That's a cool way of looking at it. You're changing the denominator from dollars to Bitcoins. Queen said, I love it here. Cool. Have a better structure, maybe. Agreed. I can work on that. Apologies, but that is air. Most people barely get by work 2 or 3 jobs. Let's be happy if you're able to eat, have roof, take care of your family. If you have a family, and be happy with them. Yeah, Arthur DeVroom. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Red mic draws eyes, maybe black it out. Yeah, I'm going to switch it back. I think this looked better with the old set. I don't like it right now. I'm going to, you know what? Let's just, now that looks metal. Probably because it is metal. There we go. No pop filter. All right, I will get another pop filter on there, but we're making improvements live on air. Get out of here. You don't fit anymore. You need more artifacts in the background. Looking good so far. Yeah, I got to work on this. I got to get all my books up here. This is going to move around a lot. I got a couple of these cameras aren't going to stay up here because these are actually going to be used for the other camera angle. This is a couple of EOS Rs that we have. One thing about me is I hate green screens. I've had a lot of people try and convince me to use green screens. I don't like it. I like practical effects. That is a real... Take the lens cap off. Ah, I can see you. That's a real camera right there. That's a Canon EOS R. That's what we're shooting on. This is a Canon EOS R with a 28 to 70 millimeter f2 lens up there that we're shooting on right now. That's our $1 million in set. Yeah. Cool. Let's continue reading some chat. I love this feedback. I love it. I love it. Read one Bible chapter every live stream. That might be a little bit much, but I do want to get some kind of something. Like, you know, I love when you drive down the road and you see the 18-wheelers and they got like a follow me to don't follow me, follow Jesus kind of thing. I want to do something like that where we're working on that. Fix the white light, purple chin light. Yeah, we can do that right now. That's lighting that up down there. Don't stop sharing Jesus. Never will. Fix this a little bit. Yeah, I do have to work on the lighting. We actually have some more lighting coming in today. It will be ready for... Yeah, that light down there does need a little bit of work, doesn't it? Is that better? I think that's a little bit better. New technology ideas for ethical use. There you go. The set is too dark. Yes, I agree. It is too dark. We've got some underlighting that's going to come under these shelves, and it'll light up each of these 3 shelves, so that's going to be pretty cool. Also, there are lights in the top of that china cabinet, so that's going to be coming soon. Just got to put the light bulbs in there. Cool office setup, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate it. This is my study. Maybe a small overlay with a video structure and some live tickers. Yeah, I do want to work on the production. I know one thing that we definitely need is we need a new intro. Looking at possibly bringing on some new hires very soon, because I want somebody to Yeah, we've got a lot of cool things. Something I've been thinking about. Tell me what you think about this. I'm thinking about starting a trading group. Had a lot of you guys are just very interested in trading. Please, same time every day. That is a big one for sure. I'm aware of that. Been thinking about starting a trading group and sharing with you guys some of the things that we know, getting some of our really good traders all in one place to share setups and wisdom and knowledge so we can kind of all learn off of each other. I really think that we could all join together in a trading group and really make a lot of money together. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So tell me what you think about that as well. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and run a poll on that. Just an idea. Make me a mod, please. Always here. Just don't say much. Sure. You are here quite a bit. Let's see. Please tell us more. Let's see. Keep it real and personable. I've been listening to you since before my wife passed away over 3 years ago. Appreciated you in such a tough time. My goodness. Oh, my goodness. I could not imagine how difficult that must be. Oh, I'm not going to lie. That kind of thing is the stuff of nightmares. I have not obviously lost my wife, but as you guys know, we did lose a child not too long ago. So it's hard. It's really, really hard. My prayers to be with you. May the Lord be with you there. And that's why I try to keep it real, and that's why I try to keep it real, and I try to talk to you guys about the Lord, because something that I've realized. Look, I hope that you can understand. I'm going to look away from the chat for just a second, so I can focus on this one point, and then we're going to wrap it out in a few minutes. Whether you believe in the Lord Jesus Christ or not, something you need to understand about me is that I do. Something you need to understand about me is that I don't believe in him for no reason. I have seen him at work. I've studied the claims of the cross. I've looked into it. I've done the research. I've analyzed it. I've looked at the hundreds of messianic prophecies in the Old Testament that are frankly impossible for the person that wrote those prophecies to know. I've looked at the fact that 11 of the 12 apostles of Jesus died a martyr's death for something that they knew was true. They didn't know that Jesus was a liar. If they did, they wouldn't have died for him. They died because they would rather die than say that he wasn't who he was, because they knew that on the other end of death, they were going to meet him. I know that Jesus is the way, the truth, the life, and no one comes to the Father except through him. Part of the reason that this channel, not part of the reason, the entire reason that this channel exists in the first place is to teach you guys about Jesus. And it's my hope that I can teach 100 of you how to get better at trading. But it's my great hope and my great prayer that I can impact one of you through the kingdom. If one of you comes here and lost a spouse, lost a child, lost a parent, is struggling with suicidality, we've gotten a lot of that over the years. If one of you comes here and you need something more than just how to make more money, I want to be able to give you answers for that. I know that Christ has an amazing, beautiful gift for you if you'll reach out and take it. And just put yourself, even if you're not a Christian. If you're a Christian, you totally understand what I'm saying here. Even if you're not, just think about for a second. Think about if you knew someone that had absolutely everything that anybody on planet Earth could ever need. They are the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through them. They are absolutely perfect. They love every one of us immensely, more than we could possibly imagine. Wouldn't you want to tell somebody who's brokenhearted about that individual? Wouldn't you? Put yourself in my shoes. If you're an atheist or an agnostic or another, follow another religion or whatever, think about what you would do if you knew the best cardiologist in the entire world. He's the top. He is the number one cardiologist in the whole world, and someone comes to you with heart troubles. You're going to tell him about that guy, right? Imagine you know the best mechanic. Man, he can fix any car. Someone comes to you with car troubles. You're going to tell him about that guy, right? Because you care about him. Now put yourself in my shoes. Imagine you're me, and you've met the King of the universe through his word, and you know about him. Put yourself in my shoes. You know Jesus because you've met him in his word and through his people and through his church. Put yourself in my shoes. Wouldn't you want to share about that? That's why we're here. because I might turn off 100 of you, but if one of you is impacted for the kingdom of God, I've won. That's a worthwhile trade. I'll leave the 99 for the one. I'll do it every day. I'll do it every time. Don't bother me. And I know that'll turn some of you off. I get it. But just know that I'm doing what I do because I love you. And I don't find any motivation in what I do without it being rooted in my love for your entire person. Not just how much money you can make us when you sign up for Lux Algo. You're not a commodity to me, guys. When you sign up for our products, we make money. Duh, it's a business. Money makes the world go round. Should the laborer not be paid for his wages? I don't care about you for that sake. I care about you because you're made in the image of God. And I know on the other end of your credit card is not just a bank account, it's a soul. And if I can make an impact on you, not just on where you send your money, whether you buy something of ours, but if I can make an impact on you, I won't just be storing up rewards on earth. No, that is something that you and I will get to share in heaven. When I die and I stand before the Father, it is my hope and my prayer that I will know that I was able to have some impact, whether it's a big impact or a small impact, on millions of people for the kingdom of God. And it was not me, it was God, and it was Christ who lives in me. That's what I hope. 86% of you guys said yes to the Crypto Jeb trading group idea. That's a, wow. Maybe I ought to do it. Maybe I ought to do it. I've thought about it for a long time, but maybe I ought to do it. Let's hope Bitcoin goes up like that cow lick. Get this man a hairbrush. Just jokes. Yeah, that's another thing. I do need to get a haircut. Man, I got a haircut. Oh, I'm not going to say where. I got a haircut. We were about an hour away from missing our plane to Las Vegas. Last minute. I'm talking last minute. We got a haircut. I went to get a haircut before we flew to Vegas last month. This lady would not stop talking about how annoying her neighbors are. She didn't barely cut my hair. She gave me a haircut. I'm like, okay, this is going to have to do. She cut the side. That was great. But she barely took anything off. I was like, I need you to cut a little bit more off. I'm sorry. You know, I was very kind about it. Like, would you mind taking just a little bit more off? My hair's really long. She's like, yeah, she cuts like another inch of it off. I'm like, okay, that's going to have to do. I got to go. We're going to miss the plane. Oh, man. Yes, please, trading group. I would love it. Hey, some of you guys. Hey, you know, here's another thing. Let's see. Now, obviously, this is probably going to be a smaller yes, but even if 10% of you say yes, would you be willing to share what you know about trading in a Crypto Jeb trading group? Yes or no? Would you be willing to help us teach it? Would you be willing to share your own trades or maybe, you know, help me educate? Because I don't want to just be the only person in there teaching. I want to get a group going where dozens of us, we're all collaborating and teaching each other. Maybe I could elevate some of you guys to like community educators that are able to teach. That'd be pretty cool. Jeb, are you taking any actions to delete bot comments in comment section? They're out of control. There is even a Jeb bot impersonator. Every time I see them, I hide them, which means that account is no longer able to post. The issue is you run into this situation where the bots just make a billion more copies of themselves. I will look into it. If any of you guys have any ideas about that, please tell me, because it's frankly extremely annoying, and I'm very disappointed that that YouTube hasn't done something about it. Something needs to be done. I thought Sarah did the cuts. No, Sarah did not cut my hair. She has before. But frankly, it just when Sarah cuts my hair, it freaks her out because she's like, oh my gosh, if I do something wrong, it's going to go on camera and people are going to blame me. So I was like, I'm just going to get my hair cut by someone else so that if something goes wrong, she doesn't feel bad about it. She doesn't have to take the blame for it. No, it was not her. God is good. That's right. Trading group, yes. Anyone watching The Chosen? Great show. Jeb trading group is good. Room reeks of narcissism. Okay. All right. That's some feedback. Why? Why does it reek of narcissism? I do not want to come across that way. The main reason that all of this stuff is up here is because I don't have all my books in here yet. This shelf is going to, probably about half of it's just going to be books. Definitely not trying to come across as narcissistic. I definitely don't want to convey that. That I have no interest in being that way. Make trading groups free or a $1 fee to avoid bots. Maybe make a Jeb fund we can invest in for 99% of returns of our input you make. We become the market. There you go. Yes, trading group, a big yes. Trading as a fiat mindset. Okay, explain. Jesus has mercy on you, Crypto Jeb. Hence, you are still being used by the Holy Spirit. God bless you. That is the prayer, to be used of the Holy Spirit. Let's see. We're going to have to go pretty soon here. But definitely interested in seeing all of your feedback. Let's keep it coming. Keep it coming. I'm going to try and make something better every single day. We got a new set being built right now. That's what I'm working on right now. We got a new set being built. Bring it in. The wood is super shiny. Maybe not working with light and the narcissism vibe? What do you mean? The wood being shiny? Interesting. Okay. Go to work by taking a Starship flight to our trading space center. There you go. We can be the first space trading center. Assign some bot moderators or frequent viewers. We have a lot of bots. A lot of moderators. There's not really any... Are you saying for the comments section under the videos? Because there's not any bots in the chat, are there? I don't really ever see them. I'm looking at top chat. Maybe there's some in the live chat. If you guys are going to throw heavy criticisms, at least give a why. Yeah, hey, I don't mind it. Hit me with all you got. Just explain it so that I can do something about it. I don't have a fragile ego. I just want to do better. I like the feedback. Let's see. Jeb, where did you get that beautiful bookcase behind you? These are all cherry wood bookcases by Souter. Souter, I think, is the name of the company. This is a 1780s colonial china cabinet. It's by the Colonial Trading Company, I think. I think it's the Colonial Trading Company is what it's called, something like that. Someone said yes because everyone knows that shiny wood is associated with narcissism. Yeah, I don't really see the connection there. Please explain. I'd be happy to try and understand. Don't quite understand that connection, but all right. Definitely not the vibe I'm going for. Okay, so here's the vibe that I'm going for. I'm going for the vibe of knowledge is important. That's the vibe. When I sat down and I designed this room, I said I want this studio to convey that I value learning, wisdom, and knowledge. That's why I designed this room. That's why there's a bunch of bookshelves here. The books are not in yet. I'm not done with the studio because we were going to be in on Monday, but I decided that I wanted to go ahead and get into it earlier. So that's what we were going for. Tell me if it conveys that. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe the books being up there will actually help some more. Interview the chat and discuss their portfolios. Yes, that's a big thing that you guys want and that I want to do is get some more call-ins. Maybe throw some color LEDs behind the items on the shelves. That would look dope. Those are already in the mail. Pew pew poom. Not pew pew poom 2. Where'd the second one go? We got the first one. Thing 1's here. Where's thing 2? Yeah, those are in the mail. They're going to be here. Those are going to be here very soon. How's the best contact for you? Email? Probably over in, just respond to me over on X. Respond to me over on X. I read all the responses over there, and I can get in touch with you there. The bookshelves, yeah, there's 3 of them. This is a corner bookcase. These are 2 bookcases. They've got cabinets. We got cabinets down there. Bots are very hard to keep under control, yes. Thanks, Jeb. It's crazy out there. Yep. All right, so 73% of you are willing to be in a trading group and share what you know about trading. That's so exciting because I wouldn't want to just launch a trading group and it just be me. Because frankly, I know a good bit about trading, but I don't know everything. I want a community of people where we're all like-minded in trading and investing. And we're like, hey, I know this, or I know this, I know that. I want to put the group together, but I want all of us to really come together and teach each other. I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be great. And so that's what I'm thinking about. Thinking about it. Just an idea. Just an idea. Tell me what you think. If you think that that's something that we ought to do, like a trading group kind of thing, then, talk about it. Tell me in chat. Tell me every day. Be like, Jeb, you talk about a trading group. Are you doing it or not? Like, just give us some understanding of what you think about that. Let's see. I stack Bitcoin. Simple. Yeah. It is very simple when you do it that simply. What about teaching people how to set up a business structure? Maybe like a once-a-week video. That's a great idea. Yeah, it's important. LLC filed as an S corporation. That's the best advice I can give you. Form 2553 with the IRS. You'll have an 1120S for your business return, which will be on your Schedule C on your 1040, if I recall correctly. It's a pass-through entity. That's what I recommend. as far as the actual business structure. Let's see. I'm going to read just a little bit more chat, then we're going to wrap it out. Or a trust setup to benefit kids. Yes, that's a good one. That's a good thing. Yeah, I'd like to teach that. I do want to do a lot more education. That's part of the reason I'm trying to get the studio built and the production built, because I want to just go absolutely crazy with things. Lol, no, 50C3 ministries have your LLCs owned by a ministry. By the ministry fall under First Amendment protections. Yeah, you can run a 50C3. If you're trying to build a nonprofit, then that's obviously the way to go. That's interesting, though. The 50C3 ministry can own your LLCs. I'm going to look into that. That's interesting. Very interesting. I didn't know you could do that. You can run a for-profit LLC under a 50C3 nonprofit? That's news to me. That's cool. Tell people how to organize portfolio, investing versus trading, how you keep it straight. That's right. Absolutely. Like the engagement last shows, keep that up. Video topics and tickets. Video topics and tickets, and you're good. Awesome. There's no good plays right now in crypto until Bitcoin dominance goes down, and stonks is where you should be. LLC for profit can be under the ministry tax-free. Huh. Interesting. I'm going to look into that. Video topics and tickers, and you're good. Yeah, so you guys are saying I should get like an overlay where we've got like the video topics like over here, like lined up, or maybe like right here. Maybe like lined up. These are the video topics we're about to go through. That's something I can look into. I can figure out how to do that. It's called a disregarded entity. I'm going to look into that. Interesting. Interesting. I would love for the IRS to disregard our entities so we don't have to pay taxes. I'd love that. Do everything I can to legally avoid taxes. The government is terrible at managing its money, and so I try to give it as little as I possibly can. Jeb, what is the status of the massive inverse head and shoulders pattern? It's in great shape. It's in great shape. Major inverse head and shoulders right here. A drop down to 92 would not even invalidate it. So great shape. Still pointing at $150,000. Here's a question. Here's another question. Do you prefer, because I noticed that the viewership has gone down a little bit. Do you prefer, here's a poll. Here's a poll. Crypto Jeb would absolutely fall under a ministry style business. That's a good point. I'll look into that. Climate of crypto. Guys, we are going to have to wrap it out here in just a couple of minutes. All charts, no chat interaction. Mostly chat, some charts. Mostly charts, some chat. Or all chat and no charts. What do you guys think? What should the stream setup be? Leaning in the direction of mostly charts, some chat. So what? Give me a percentage. Type in chat. Should it be like first number is charts and news and topics and everything. Second number is audience interaction. Should we be like 2/3? Like 70% charts and news and interaction and monologues and rants and all that, and like 30%? Like 30% chat? What do you think? What do we think here? No one is going for the one or for the all the way one or all the way the other, which makes sense. I like about an even mix, but I have to choose. It would mostly be charts, some chat. Agreed. Yeah, that's where people are going. Agree with that. What percentage do you think it should be? Like charts and news, like 50%, 50% chat and interaction and polls and audience call-ins and all that? What do you think? Do you like it to be mostly conversational with chat? Spoopy Doopy said 40% chart. There you go. Market update, news, TA, BTC, TA, alts, interaction in between all and all and rants when you feel like it. There you go. Start with news topics, then charts, then some discussion. Don't worry about me. Focus on the TA. I won't be offended. 20% interaction / chat, 60-40, 70% chart. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Okay, so we got that poll. I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna do one more poll. I'm gonna wrap it out. I love polling you guys. Would you like to see a minute-by-minute stream schedule brought back? So back in the day, we used to have like 10 to 10:05 was introduction, 10:05 to 10:10 was market overview, 10:10 to 10:15 was chat, 10:15 to 10:25 was, topic 1. Then there was 5 minutes of chat, topic 2, then 5 minutes of chat, the closing, and then 10 minutes of outro. Would you like to see that that schedule brought back to the stream? Would you appreciate having that, like, hey, at this moment, you're going to see on stream, hey, at this point, at this minute, we're going to go here, at this minute, we're going to go here, or do you like the more free-flowing kind of form that we do things? Interesting. I expected a lot more yeses on this one so far. Getting hyped about the formatting changes, upping the game. Yeah, we're gonna go right back to being the biggest show in the crypto space is the goal. That's what we're gonna try to do. We'll see if it happens. Kind of depends on whether you guys like what we're doing or not. Someone said no. Wow, interesting. Interesting. I did not expect that. Okay, so those of you guys that are saying no, why are you saying no to the minute-by-minute stream schedule? Do you think that it needs to be something where you're like, hey, Jib, if you need an extra 2 minutes, take an extra 2 minutes, but in general, have a general schedule? It does help if we miss the stream and come back in time to crunch. That's true. Yeah, that's a very good point. It would also make it easier to cut the stream, because that's something I want to do, is get started cutting out the stream segments. Uploading them as their own individual videos. 67% of you are saying that. It's interesting. The schedule mostly helps if you miss the live broadcast. That's a good point, which is a lot of people. Probably most of the viewership happens after. Too much pressure on you. You have enough to bear. Nah, it actually helps me. It helps me know what to do. It's not pressuring. 9:30 is completely open. You're going to have to move out of this time slot and stop competing with Discover Crypto. Yeah, what are they? Are they live right now? Is that the idea? Yeah, what time slot do you guys think we ought to do? That's another point. Where do you think we ought to be? Because I'm not glued to 10 or 11 o'clock. I don't mind moving around a little bit. Discover Crypto goes live at 11. Is that the idea? Or at 11? Is that it? Yeah. 75-25. Don't crunch it too tight and keep cutting yourself off. Just keep it flexible with a structure. Interesting. So those of you guys that are saying have a structure, you're saying have the progression rather than the strict, like, this is minute by minute. Be like, hey, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about it in this order, but I can kind of finagle a little bit the actual how much time we spend on both topics. That makes sense. That makes sense. I like that. I like this back and forth. I like the community interaction here. We're going way over time. I got to wrap it out like pretty much immediately. But love this feedback. It's helpful. We want to make this the best stream in crypto, just period. I mean, that's just as simple as it can be. You can take your time to explain in an important topic. All right. Here's another question. Okay, I got one more. I'm sorry. I got one more. I really got to go, but I got one more. More news or more charts? I think I know the answer to this one. More news or more charts? You're the only reason I watched Coffee and Crypto. Thank you. Loose structure. Yep. Loose structure. All right. Loose structure. I like this. Ooh, this one's bouncing back and forth quick. Obviously, we're going to cover news and charts because we have to. There's no doubt about that. But more news or more charts? I think it's going to be more charts. I think you guys are much more interested in what I have to say on the charts than on the news. Here's a question. Do you guys think that I need to talk about charts more than I do and talk about news a little bit less than I do? Because sometimes I think that you guys are like, yeah, but just really want you to shut up about Iran and Israel and Trump and all this nonsense and just get back to the charts. I have a feeling you guys are like, Jeb, go back to your roots, focus on the chart. Yeah, wow, that's overwhelming. Okay, cool. I'm really liking this feedback. X is the news feed. True. I love X. X is awesome. Okay. So would you guys like to see the show like 1/3 news, maybe 1/4 to 1/3 news, and like 2/3 to 3/4 charts? This is very clear. Like it. Like it. Very helpful. Mainly TA. 1/4. 1/4 news, 3/4 charts. That's good. Makes sense. I'm liking it. Hey, I want to make the best content that you guys love. I love it. All right. Well, hey guys, we're gonna wrap it out. I hope you've enjoyed today's stream. Very much excited to see all of your smiling faces in the next stream. Make sure you stream on X and YT always. The only reason we're not live on X right now is because the streaming software jacked up, so I gotta fix that. We're gonna be on. We do stream on X every day. Here's one last question. I keep saying that. One last question. Do you think that I need to show a lot more altcoins? Because I don't cover altcoins very often, and I have a feeling you guys are wishing I did. Let me bring a voice to that opinion. Do you guys think I need to like do 50-50 altcoins, 50% Bitcoin, 50% altcoins? Row Y said 25% politics news, 25% market updates in Bitcoin, and some alt TA chat banter for the other 50. What's the goal of charts for long-term hodlers? To understand where the best entry is. That's predominantly the goal there. What about Rumble? We're coming to Rumble soon. It's just I've got a lot of different things to do. Rumble is one of those things that I'm wanting to do, though, is come to Rumble. Also, we've got some very exciting announcements coming in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for those. Some earth-shattering announcements. Cannot wait to share some of those with you. Hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's stream. We got a lot of great updates coming, a lot of great feedback you guys have given me today. Going to continue to do this kind of polling of the audience for the next several months, just to really hone in and refine our craft and make sure this is the best stream on YouTube. We're going to nail it. We're going to nail it. So stay tuned. Really excited that you're here. Love that you're here. And share the stream with somebody that you think would find value out of it. If you enjoyed today's stream, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, stay tuned for more content, and just keep telling me, what do you think about the trading group idea? Something I'm floating? Would love to hear your opinion on that. Hey, before I go, I love you. I love you so much. Follow Jesus. You won't regret it. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.